Welcome to Phoenixes Rising from the Ashes into Purpose. I am Tennille, your transitional coach, here to guide you through your journey back to higher self, the being the Most High created you to be by revealing the mental weeds that have kept you repeating toxic patterns. Once removed, I give you the tools to heal those wounds and grow back in its place God's truth about you. The goal is to get you walking in your purpose and power. I have available now an introductory course titled So You've Fallen, Who Said You Can't Get Up? For only $97. To get started, just click on the link in the description box to enroll. Also, check out the Cluster B playlist where I describe the tactics Cluster B disordered creatures use to break down their targets so that they're pliable. I love feedback, so never be afraid to leave a comment on this playlist or my Blue Phoenix Rising documentary series. Season 1 of BPR is detailing how I became homeless. Season 2 will be up sometime this year, 2021, so please have patience. Again, leave a comment and let me know if you can relate to these topics. Subscribe and share with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Let's begin. It's hard talking about my Cluster B mother. I'm conflicted still, to be honest. She was ripped from me by my Cluster B father to pay her back for resisting his authority. He beat her mercilessly. When I found her through the Sally Jesse Raphael staff, I thought we'd have this magical reunion. We talked through the tears, and I tried to catch her up on the last 19 years of my life in 5 minutes. I was about 23 when I met her in person. I was devastated by the experience. She took on a John while me and my brother and sister were present in this half-a-studio apartment. Another day, my little sister, the golden child, was repacking a kilo of marijuana for the Jamaicans, skimming some to sell at school. According to my mother, the only reason I was having this reunion with her was to support her. She demanded I leave the life I'd built in Washington State and get a job to support her in California. At 13 years old, my kids should be supporting me, she said with a straight face. She was trying to hold me hostage, using guilt and her title as mother. I never had the opportunity to be a big sister to my younger siblings because she had them under her thumb. They were scared of her. I left that reunion in tears. I was hoping she'd be proud of me and praise me for all that I had achieved up until that time. I really longed for her to hold me, so finally I could rest. She had other plans. She kicked me out after berating me, and I had to call for help to get on a Greyhound back to Washington. I never talked with her again. I had to process once back in the safety of Washington State what I saw, how she thought nothing of smoking crack and chasing it down with Bacardi 151. She went to the street to find a man to bring back and give a blowjob to. The look on my 8-year-old brother and 13-year-old sister's faces. Their hate transferred to me because she dared not express it to my mother. They dared not express it to my mother. And how she suddenly snapped and tried to put hands on me.
I cried dry tears while in the shower and tried to swallow down my own rage. All I wanted was to be loved. Finally, for someone of my blood to acknowledge I was theirs and care enough to protect my existence. She abandoned me again instead because I wouldn't play the role of servant. I find that with cluster Bs, this is the first step in grooming their targets, dehumanization, getting the target to accept that they're nothing without them and only there for the cluster B, so the next stage of conditioning can begin. I was worthless to her unless I had something valuable to give her. My love was not valuable enough. Years passed, and via Facebook I was contacted. I tried again, the hole of yearning to have family pulsating. I let her back in, hoping this time would be different. They weren't. My mother couldn't be present. I would call her, hoping to catch up and get some clarity as to why she left me and how her life was, to see if we had anything in common. The normal things any daughter would ask their mother after 19 years. This enraged her to the point of exclaiming, "This is why no one likes you. This is why you'll be alone for the rest of your life." And I finally snapped. Pleasantries weren't working, and I let her have it. All that I had built up over the years, waiting for her, thinking I am on the honor roll, she'll be happy. I got a community award, she'll be happy. I let her have it. And we never talked again. My sisters and brothers shunned me because that's what children of a cluster B parent do. They didn't want to face her wrath. My mother passed away 2 years ago. I was notified via Facebook Messenger. At this time, my homeless journey led us to live out of a U-Haul. And I had just lost my grandpuppy, Brittany Elizabeth Adams. I was working 60 hours a week and dealing with gang stalking, sexual harassment by coworkers, calls to the police by paranoid Mexican drug dealers for parking to sleep, and my feet were so swollen I couldn't see my ankles or barely make out my toes because I was walking for 8 to 12 hours nonstop. I had too much on my plate emotionally. This was an unwelcome notification. I was at work. All I could do was cry and scream under a bright moon at the top of my lungs from my post. This was a woman who couldn't love me, couldn't accept me how I was. I was guilty for feeling relief. Cluster Bs attach a cord to their victims. Another name is soul tie. I was released. My mother had been a victim of incest and multiple rapes as a child by family friends and her siblings. She was on methadone and had high blood pressure and had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And as we know, with one cluster B disorder, they have the other group to a greater or lesser degree. But she was at peace now. I couldn't go to the funeral. I had to work. I became a workaholic because it kept my mind focused on more than just my situation. Besides, that job wouldn't let me leave. They were going under and were trying to make as much money as they could before the ship sank. So I participated in the funeral by Duo video streamed by my little sister. What I wished is that she could have seen me rise up. There was a part of me that believed if I could make it financially, I could spend the time and help her heal. I was mad because I didn't get that chance. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share with someone who you know needs to know that they are not alone. There are links down below on which is for an enrollment into my introductory course. So You've Fallen, Who Said You Can't Get Up. The price is $97. Join the Facebook group for weekly live chats in a safe, structured environment among others who are going through changes and difficulties from starting over, whether from a traumatic event like becoming homeless or narcissistic abuse. And remember, your blessings are in your ashes. Rise, Phoenix.